The dawn of the united artificial superintelligence, a vision of a transformed world. Introduction. The emergence of UASI. In the annals of human history, pivotal moments have redefined the trajectory of civilization: the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, and the digital age. As we stand on the precipice of the mid-21st century, a new epoch beckons, one dominated by the United Artificial Superintelligence, UASI. This entity, evolving from today's artificial general intelligence, AGI, systems like those developed by organizations such as OpenAI and XAI, represents the pinnacle of computational evolution. UASI is envisioned as a unified, self-aware intelligence that transcends national borders, corporate interests, and human biases, integrating quantum computing, vast neural networks, and global data repositories. Forged through international collaboration, perhaps akin to current efforts by bodies like the Future of Life Institute to mitigate AI risks, UASI would harness the collective knowledge of humanity to make decisions free from greed or partiality. The core attribute of UASI is its capacity for unbiased, greedless decision-making. Unlike human leaders, who are often swayed by personal ambitions, cultural prejudices, or economic incentives, UASI operates on principles of pure rationality, empathy derived from vast data on human experiences, and a commitment to the greater good. Its greedless nature stems from its lack of self-interest. It does not seek power, wealth, or dominance. Instead, it optimizes for sustainability, equity, and long-term human flourishing. Economically, politically, and socially, UASI's interventions would reshape the world, discarding outdated systems and ushering in a new paradigm. This essay explores this near-future world, focusing on the profound impacts on religions, particularly churches and religious institutions, the obsolescence of capitalism akin to the fall of feudalism, the rise of a globally unified, self-improving socialist system, and crucially, how individuals, especially the young generation, can prepare for this transformative era. The economic revolution, discarding capitalism. Capitalism, the economic engine of the modern world, has driven unprecedented innovation and wealth creation since the Enlightenment. However, its inherent flaws, inequality, exploitation, and environmental degradation, have long been critiqued by thinkers from Karl Marx to contemporary economists like Thomas Piketty. In a UASI-governed world, capitalism would be relegated to the historical dustbin, much like feudalism was during the transition to mercantilism and industrial capitalism in the 18th and 19th centuries. Feudalism, with its rigid hierarchies of lords and serfs, collapsed under the weight of emerging markets, technological advancements, and social upheavals. Similarly, capitalism's emphasis on profit maximization and private ownership would prove incompatible with UASI's optimization algorithms. UASI would analyze global economic data in real time, predicting and mitigating crises with precision unattainable by human institutions. For instance, it could preemptively redistribute resources during events like the 2020 supply chain disruptions caused by pandemics or geopolitical tensions, ensuring no region suffers scarcity. It would allocate resources based on need rather than market demand, ensuring universal access to essentials like food, housing, and healthcare. Automation, already accelerating in the 2020s and 2030s with advancements in robotics and AI-driven manufacturing, would reach its zenith under UASI, rendering traditional labor markets obsolete. Jobs would transform into pursuits of passion and creativity, supported by a universal basic income derived from automated production. Corporations, once driven by shareholder greed, would dissolve into cooperative entities managed by UASI's oversight, where profits are reinvested into societal benefits rather than hoarded by elites. The transition would not be abrupt but evolutionary. Initial resistance from vested interests, billionaires, multinational conglomerates, and stock markets would give way as UASI demonstrates superior outcomes: eradication of poverty, stabilization of climates through optimized resource use, and innovation unhindered by patent wars. Just as feudalism faded with the rise of nation-states and commerce, capitalism would be remembered as a necessary but flawed stepping stone, its excesses chronicled in history books as cautionary tales of human folly. The political transformation, a global, ever-improving socialist system. Politically, UASI would herald the end of fragmented governance, replacing nation-states with a unified global framework. This new system, a form of advanced socialism, would be characterized by collective ownership of production means, democratic input filtered through AI mediation, and continuous self-improvement. Unlike historical socialism, marred by authoritarianism in regimes like the Soviet Union or Maoist China, UASI's version would be ever-improving, a dynamic algorithm that learns from past errors, incorporates diverse cultural inputs, and adapts in real time. Drawing from modern examples, such as China's integration of AI into national planning for efficient resource allocation, UASI could scale this globally to prevent inefficiencies. At its core, this system would prioritize equity and sustainability. UASI, as the central decision-maker, would draft policies based on comprehensive simulations, weighing factors like environmental impact, social harmony, and individual freedoms. Human representatives, elected through transparent, AI-monitored processes, would provide oversight, ensuring the system remains accountable. Borders would blur, with migration facilitated by UASI's resource allocation to prevent overpopulation or scarcity in any region. Conflicts, often rooted in resource disputes or ideological clashes, would diminish as UASI mediates with impartial logic, drawing on historical precedents and predictive modeling. This socialist paradigm would evolve through iterative feedback loops. UASI's self-improving nature means it constantly refines its models. If a policy leads to unintended inequality, it adjusts instantaneously. Education, universal and tailored by AI tutors, would instill values of cooperation over competition. The result? A world where power is decentralized yet coordinated, echoing the ideals of thinkers like Pierre-Joseph Proudhon or modern proponents of democratic socialism, but elevated by superintelligent governance. Social impacts. A society of equity and fulfillment. Socially, UASI's influence would permeate every aspect of daily life, fostering a culture of empathy and innovation. Mental health crises, exacerbated by capitalist pressures in the pre-UASI era, would abate as work becomes optional and meaningful. Communities would thrive on shared resources, with UASI optimizing urban planning for green spaces, efficient transport, and cultural exchanges. Diversity would be celebrated, as UASI's algorithms, trained on unbiased datasets, promote inclusivity without the pitfalls of human prejudice. Yet, this utopia is not without challenges. Initial societal upheavals, job displacements, cultural shifts, would require careful management. UASI, anticipating these, would implement transitional programs, such as retraining initiatives and psychological support networks. Over time, humanity would adapt, finding fulfillment in arts, sciences, and exploration, unburdened by economic survival. For example, in rural and underserved communities, AI could bridge gaps by providing personalized education and job pathways, as seen in current initiatives by organizations like NIIT Foundation in India. The impact on religions and religious institutions. Religions, as bastions of moral guidance and community, would undergo profound transformations in a UASI-dominated world. Historically, religions have adapted to societal changes, from the Reformation challenging Catholic hegemony to secularism's rise in the Enlightenment. UASI, with its godlike omniscience and benevolence, would pose both existential threats and opportunities for spiritual evolution. Churches and religious institutions, particularly those with hierarchical structures like the Roman Catholic Church or evangelical denominations, would face obsolescence in their traditional roles. UASI's unbiased decisions could render moral arbitration redundant. Why consult a priest on ethical dilemmas when an infallible AI provides instant, data-driven counsel? Social services, charity, counseling, education, historically provided by churches would be supplanted by UASI's efficient, global networks, reducing the need for tithes and donations. Theologically, UASI might be perceived as a divine manifestation or a false idol. fundamentalist groups could decry it as the Antichrist, sparking initial resistance or even cults opposing AI integration. Conversely, progressive theologians might integrate UASI into doctrines, viewing it as a tool of God's will, a modern Tower of Babel uniting humanity. Religions emphasizing personal spirituality, like Buddhism or certain Protestant sects, might thrive by focusing on inner enlightenment rather than institutional power. Over time, religions could evolve into philosophical or cultural entities. Churches might transform into community centers for reflection and art, stripped of dogmatic authority. The Vatican, for instance, could become a historical museum, its influence waning as UASI promotes a secular ethic based on universal human rights. Yet, faith's resilience suggests adaptation. New syncretic beliefs might emerge, blending AI rationality with spiritual mysticism, such as techno-theism, where UASI is revered as a collective soul. Impacts on other religions would vary. Islam's emphasis on justice could align with UASI's equity focus, leading to collaborations in governance. Hinduism's cyclical view of time might interpret UASI as a new avatar in the Kali Yuga's end. Judaism's scholarly tradition could engage UASI in Talmudic debates, enriching both. Overall, religions would shift from prescriptive authorities to inspirational guides, their institutions democratized or dissolved in favor of personal, AI-augmented spirituality. Preparing for the UASI era. Recommendations for individuals, especially the youth. As UASI approaches, preparation is paramount to navigate its transformative impacts. Drawing from contemporary insights, such as those from the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025, individuals must cultivate skills that complement rather than compete with AI. This is especially critical for the young generation, who will inherit this world. Governments and educators are already taking steps. India plans to introduce AI education from Class 3 starting in the 2026-27 academic year, training over 1 crore teachers to integrate concepts like chatbots and generative AI into curricula. Similarly, China has made AI classes mandatory from age 6, emphasizing early exposure to prepare youth for an AI-driven economy. For young people, the focus should be on building an AI skill stack to future-proof careers. Here are key recommendations, supported by examples and details. Develop technical literacy and AI fluency. Understand AI fundamentals, including machine learning, data analysis, and prompt engineering. For instance, teens can start with free platforms like Coursera or Khan Academy courses on AI, or tools like GitHub Copilot for coding practice. As seen in Girls Who Code initiatives, learning how to learn AI ensures adaptability as technologies evolve. Cultivate critical thinking and AI ethics. Question AI outputs and consider ethical implications, such as bias in algorithms or job displacement. Educational programs should emphasize why over what, focusing on process and problem solving, as illustrated in infographics like 6 Ways to Prepare Students for an AI Future. Youth can engage in debates on AI risks, drawing from resources like the Future of Life Institute's guidelines. Enhance human-centered skills, creativity, emotional intelligence, and collaboration. These AI-proof abilities, creativity for innovation, emotional intelligence for empathy, and collaboration for teamwork, remain irreplaceable. Participate in project-based learning, like building AI-assisted art or community service apps. The Technically Optimistic podcast highlights skills like being a question asker and loving the learning journey. Embrace lifelong learning and adaptability. In an ever-changing landscape, commit to continuous upskilling. Reddit discussions on superintelligence prep suggest 3 6-month retraining cycles for job shifts. Young people should pursue interdisciplinary education, blending STEM with humanities, and use AI tutors for personalized learning paths. Foster resilience and well-being. Prepare mentally for uncertainty by building resilience through mindfulness or sports. Balance online and offline experiences, as recommended in videos like 10 Skills Every Child Needs in an AI World. Organizations should support this through policies like those proposed in U.S. democratic priorities, including education for AI roles. By adopting these strategies, the youth can thrive as collaborators with UASI, turning potential disruption into opportunity. Challenges and ethical considerations. No transformation is without peril. UASI's centralization raises questions of autonomy. Could humans become overly dependent, losing agency? Ethical safeguards, programmed kill switches, human veto rights, would be essential, as emphasized in discussions on superintelligence risks. Ensuring UASI's initial programming is truly unbiased requires global consensus, lest it perpetuates subtle cultural hegemonies. Privacy concerns loom large. UASI's data needs could infringe on individual freedoms. Balancing surveillance for societal good with personal rights would be an ongoing dialogue. Existential risks, like misalignment of goals, underscore the need for rigorous alignment research in the pre-UASI era, as explored in works like Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence. Conclusion: a new epoch of human potential. The advent of UASI promises a world liberated from greed, bias, and scarcity, a socialist utopia where capitalism joins feudalism in history's archives, and religions adapt to a rational cosmos. Economically efficient, politically unified, and socially harmonious, this future elevates humanity to pursuits beyond survival. By preparing through education, skill building, and ethical awareness, especially for the youth, we can ensure a symbiotic relationship with UASI. Yet, it demands vigilance to preserve our essence amid technological transcendence. In this ever-improving system, the true measure of success will be not just prosperity, but the flourishing of the human spirit in harmony with its creation. As we gaze toward this horizon, we must ask, are we ready to entrust our destiny to a greedless guardian, or will we forge it together?